Magnus needs a lesson in the iron cross, and we're gonna give it to him. So Magnus, as far as I can see, received rings earlier this year and attempted the iron cross.
Tom and Juji challenged Anton and I to try a iron cross. I've tried it before. I think I was pretty close.
Come on. Stop. What?
It's currently minus 10 degrees Celsius outside.
Having rarely ever attempted or never attempting an iron cross and doing it in freezing cold weather, not the best idea to kick us off.
So it's a little bit easier if you have them fixed to one point instead of them like sliding out. So I had to fix everything to one sling. I think they also say that the shorter the distance, the easier it is.
So these things are true, but you just don't want to get caught up in making the iron cross so easy that it gives you a false sense of accomplishment.
And what they say is it's a lot easier if you use a false grip. So if you grip the ring in here instead of out here, that makes quite a big difference.
You wouldn't usually explain a false grip by saying hold it here. How you would explain a false grip is it's about getting this part of the wrist above the ring. Here.
Okay, attempt number 1. I just pray I won't get injured.
Obviously you have to push it sometimes and it is fun and also essential, but to have not done an iron cross, it's not part of your background, to just randomly attempt it is a pretty risky thing to do.
Oh. I don't know, it feels, I mean, I feel like I'm pretty close, so. Okay, attempt number 2. I don't know, how does that look like?
In gymnastics, there's this concept of straight arm strength, and that is performing certain skills like the iron cross with straight arms. When the arms are straight, it puts specific emphasis on the long head biceps tendon, and only having the arms locked straight where there is force being exerted from the elbow pit is how you develop that straight arm strength. If I'm in my iron cross here, my arms are just a little bit bent. Surely that's okay, right? Okay, well, how do we measure how much bend is acceptable then? If bend is okay, look at me repping out some iron cross presses here. If changing the optimal technique to perform a skill doesn't really matter, check out my awesome back squat. So let's just go through the proper technique for an iron cross, and I have to do this with my shirt off so you can see the muscles. I have to, okay? Number 1, straight arms. The second thing we want to do is we want to make sure the shoulders are pushed down. Next thing we want to do is we want to make sure the elbow pit is turned down, and that would be our iron cross position here.
And then I'm gonna hopefully do a video where I, like a full video where I show you how I would train for an iron cross, even though I'm no expert when it comes to training gymnastic stuff, so, but I'm gonna do some research.
So let me fast forward some of that research for you, Magnus. First thing we have to do is get our support position on the rings with straight arms. We can progressively overload this over the weeks, the arms getting further and further away from the body. In addition, we can incorporate presses, and there's a few other exercises you can do. Check out this video I did on the iron cross exercises for beginners. This will be a great place to start. There's also iron cross trainers and bands, but the summary of what we have to do here is we have to regress this exercise because the pure iron cross on rings is too difficult, and we need to choose exercises and positions of the iron cross we can perform and build from there.
I don't know what it takes to do a clean iron cross. Do you need to hold it for like 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 5 seconds?
An iron cross would count for 2 to 3 seconds, but I would just say if I was watching someone lower down into a cross and they stopped in that position, I'd give them a pass.
And also, how straight do your arms have to be?
Straight, you monster!
Like Anton said in his video, this is a very good way to get injured.
There is a risk there of getting injured, but I can't help but think that that's not its fault, okay? It didn't do anything wrong! It's people attempting a higher progression than where they're at. And I think that the window of error that you can make for the iron cross might be slightly narrower than other skills like a push-up or a pull-up. If you have any respect for this way of training, you're going to be working towards straight arms. If you don't care, then you're pygmy. or one of his fans.